Marvel Rivals Season 2.5 update is coming on May 30th, and I'll be covering all the hero changes that will be coming with it, as there's some pretty substantial changes here. Unfortunately, Thor, my favorite character to play right now, is going to be receiving a massive, I would say nerf. They call it a rework, but they're making it so his hammer throw will have much reduced damage from 70 to 45, and on the way back goes from 40 to 20. So reducing the hammer throw, which one of the strongest weapons in Marvel, is now much weaker than Squirrel Girl's nuts. It also makes it so that it has a cooldown of 6 seconds, so you can't do the animation cancel like you used to be able to. And they're trying to incentivize you to use the Awakening Rune, which will normally give us up to 800 health. Now it's 75 per Awakening Rune to a maximum of 150, so much reducing his overall survivability. But I'll be breaking down all the hero changes in this video. So Captain America is getting a reduction from his base health. Right now it says 700 health. That's because he has a team up that gives him an extra 100. So it's going to go from 575. So that'll reduce his health right now to 675. So a slight reduction in his overall health. Increase the delay of the shield recovery from 2 seconds after 4 seconds. So normally you can pop your shield back up pretty quickly here. They're changing that so you can't shield as much. I'm curious to see how that'll work, because Cap used to be the worst tank. Now he is pretty solid, so I think this will impact his overall playstyle, so we'll see how that goes. And also increase the energy cost of his ultimate from 2,800 to 3,100. So I think that's fair. Cap has been kind of a pain to deal with this season, so it's nice to see that there'll be some changes to his overall survivability. Doctor Strange, who has recently nerfed into oblivion, is getting a slight buff. I'm curious to see how this will translate. So basically his damage fall off on the daggers of Denak there, his main attack, it's going to get a reduction from the 62.5% that it hits at 20 meters. So when you're around this range, it does reduce damage. You can see there they're buffing it up to 80% fall, so less fall off. It'll only lose 20% of his max damage. That's nice. He needs any buff he can get right now for his damage. And they removed the range of the damage fall off on the Maelstrom of Madness, which is nice, because to hit with this, it's not always the easiest thing to hit with. And plus they removed the team up with Hulk, which was a huge buff to his overall damage. So yeah, now the Maelstrom of Madness will hit in a much harder and a larger radius. So I think these are good. He still needs some change after reducing the daggers of Denak's ability. I think they reduce his overall damage because of the team up with Scarlet Witch, but we'll have to see what all happens here. I think this is a fair change. Emma Frost. So the White Queen's damage range is increasing. So previously she has a range of 15.5 meters. So if we're standing right at the edge of the 15 meters, you can see there, not hitting. So she's now going to have 18 meters, which roughly puts her range to about here. I think this is fair. Her range kind of sucks, and she doesn't have much mobility, so this is going to be meta changing game once Ultron is added to the game, because now there's going to be a lot of flyers around, and her range needs to be a little bit better to help hit them. It also changes the shield value here, so normally it has 500 damage, now it's going to reduce to 400. I think that's fair. It's annoying going against her shield, so this is a good change. Increase the cooldown of Carbon Crush from 5 seconds to 6 seconds, and there's actually a pretty big change with this. So her diamond form will no longer last long enough for you to be able to do 2 choke slams. So I think that's fair. And decrease the hit damage from the crystal kick from 50 to 40, and decrease the damage dealt when propelling someone into a wall. So if you're to hit someone into a wall, you do a little bit extra damage on them. This is going to be changed so that it's now not 110 damage, it's only going to be 90. So if you hit them in the wall, you can see there, do a good chunk of damage, but that's going to be changed overall. I think that it's all right of a change. I think it makes her less annoying in her diamond form and gives her more offensiveness here in her main form, which is needed with so many flyers going to be in the game. I am Groot. So Groot's damage from his Vine Strike is normally 70. This is going to reduce them to 65. That sucks, but he is one of the most offensive vanguards, so I think that's somewhat fair of a change. And increase the Ironwood Wall's cooldown from 8 seconds to 12. So this is his big wall. So that kind of does suck, the change to the timing on that, but I think that's also fair because the big wall is kind of annoying to deal with. You still have the same. I think these nerfs aren't too bad on Groot. I'm a big Groot fan as well, and he'll probably be my new main now that Thor is much worse in season 2. But Magneto. So increase the charging speed of his rings from 4 per second slack to 3 seconds per stack. So boom, you can see there the charge right below our reticule there. So 4 seconds to get 1 charge. Now there's 1 ring on his back. Another 4 seconds. There's another ring on his back. So this is increasing the speed of that alternative fire. I think that's fair. It's kind of slow of a regeneration, and you can also replenish it by using your shield. So yeah, I think that these changes to Magneto are pretty decent overall, not crazy. By Odin's beard, Thor's abilities are getting a tweak. Tweak is an interesting word choice. I feel like this is actually pretty heavy of a nerf. Adjust the hammer throw ability to be a standard ability. Remove the Thor force cost and the universal cooldown. So no longer can you do the old combination that I used to love where you go boom, boom, cancel, do your attack, and then do your alternative throw. This used to melt tanks because you can just do that alternative fire in between. Now it's doing much less damage, and on top of that, it has a 6-second cooldown, so you can't do this special trick that I used to love doing. Adjust hammer throw ability to standard ability, so it has a 6-second cooldown, and he gets 1 Thor force from every hammer throw. Whoop-de-doo, you never run out of Thor force usually. Decrease the throw damage from 70 to 45, and the return damage from 30 to 20, so only 20 damage on that. If you get hit with a nut from Squirrel Girl, that's 110 damage. The mightiest weapon in Marvel, Mjolnir, is now no longer anything special. It's like a wooden hammer or an inflatable hammer at best. Decrease the shield value from consuming Thor Force. Adjust the bonus health gained from each Thor Force from 100. So every time you do his abilities, you got 600 health now, 700, boom. Now when you do that, he'll only get 675, and then at max, only 150 extra health, which actually really sucks, as Thor is the least tanky. Every other tank in the game has much more tanking ability than Thor. So to reduce his overall survivability, that sucks. To remove his DPS with his hammer throw animation cancel, that sucks. We'll have to see in gameplay how this plays out, but it's to incentivize him to use his awakening rune, which I'll get to a bit later in this video. I'm not sure who on the dev team is a Hela and Hawkeye main, but they love to buff them up. So increasing the damage of his base arrow from 32 to 34, so that's if you just to shoot it off really quickly. Increase the projectile damage of blast arrow from 15 to 16, and increase the spell field damage from 32 to 34. So increase the overall damage on his arrow shots, that's nice, and increase the maximum focus from 70 to 75, increase the charging speed when aiming at an enemy from 100 per second to 108 per second, and change the fall off from speed from 30 seconds to 32. So when you aim at them, you build up that that resource, which gives you more damage on the targets. So yeah, they just made Hawkeye straight up stronger. I personally think they did this because there's going to be a flying meta whenever patch or season 2 comes out, because Ultron is really good. He's got a team up with Iron Man. Storm is really good. Yeah, you can see here, he's very powerful without any of these buffs, and he's only going to get stronger. So we'll have to see how this pans out, but who else got a buff? Hela. So now she normally has 8 shots per reload. Now she's going to have 10. That kind of sucks for everyone that's a flyer, because she is the flyer sniper. She can take people out of the sky like it's no one's business. So yeah, getting that change I think is going to be interesting, because yeah, she can just delete people that are moving really quickly. So yeah, that is a change that happened. We'll see how that goes. Human Torch becoming a human shart. So reducing the damage from the fire cluster from 7 to hit per 6 to 6 per hit, so reduction in his damage. Increase the speed of his charge blazing blast from 2 seconds to 3 seconds, and decrease the shield value from the flaming meteor from 7.5 to 50. Increase the cooldown from 15 seconds to 20. May I remind you, that used to be 12 seconds and now it's 20, so that's the second time that it got nerfed. It's interesting. So the blazing blast increase, so normally he has one of these regenerate every 2 seconds, and it's gonna be 3 seconds now. So that's interesting. We'll see how this goes for him. That's just a flat out nerf to him, and I don't feel like the Human Torch is actually that good either. So yeah, I'm not sure the thought process here, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. Maybe they anticipate flyers just dominating next season with Ultron being able to heal them. Who knows? We'll have to see. The cheaper Town Hall also got some changes, taking a bit of a hit both his damage survivability, lowered the dragon's damage block bonus health conversion from 1.5 to 1.3. So anytime that you're trying to block an attack, you get your spell self that extra damage. This is no longer going to be as much. Decrease the maximum bonus health convert from damage block from 200 to 175. Slightly decrease the dash distance of his kick there, and reduce the dragon's defense for a cooldown reduction from 1.5 seconds to 1 second. So yeah, I guess some slight changes overall to how he works. I don't know if that's really necessary. Iron Fist isn't really that crazy strong, but we'll have to see what their thought process is. Maybe because he's got these crazy jumps. I don't know. Maybe the flyer meta. I have no idea. Iron Man. So he's got removed the Iron Man's gamma drive overdrive from the gamma charge team up, give a new team up anchor, and This kind of sucks because the Gamma Overdrive was really strong. Getting that team up from Hulk made his damage crazy. So he's going to have a slight reduction to his overall damage, but he does have the new team up anchor effect from the Stark Protocol team up. I'll get to team ups in a moment. Decrease the projectile damage of the third repulsor blast. So boom, boom. The third one has extra damage. Now it's going from 50 to 45, and decrease the spell field damage from 60 to 55. So if you get a direct hit with that third blast, 10 less damage on it. That's kind of understandable. And reduce the ammo overdrive. So when you do the ammo overdrive or the gamma overdrive, it gives you bonus health. This, you see there, goes to 350 health. It's only going to be 50 health extra now, so he's only going to get 300 health at that upgrade. So I think that's fair. They're trying to maybe stop the Flyers from overtaking the game. So Namor is getting some interesting changes. So increase the cooldown of the Blessing of the Deep. So if you need a hideout, you're going to have an increased time from 15 seconds to 20 seconds. So that's actually quite a long one. I like to use that sometimes to set up and throw your squids up really high, because that can give you some extra range. Expanded the Horn of Proteus. So his ultimate is actually getting a much larger increase. So the inner circle, which basically one hits people, is now going to be going from 3 meters to 3.5. You can see the size of this here. So that inner circle mostly will one-shot healers, and you want to be able to land that. It increases in size, and the outer circle is increasing from 8 meters to 9 meters. So that's nice. Change to his overall ultimate's good. Decrease the outer circle damage radius from 200 to 180, and adjusted the monster spawn damage fall off starting at 20 meters, reducing to 30% at 40 meters, starting at 20 meters, reducing to 50. So yeah, they get a huge damage fall off at long range, so you no longer can really snipe with them. They do have a new appearance from what I've seen, so yeah. I guess we'll have to wait and see how Namor works, because he's really good at getting rid of Spider-Man and any other dives, but Spider-Man's going to be much less scary this season as well. Psylocke's also getting a bit of a change. So decrease the retrieval damage for a Wind Shuriken from 14 to 12. So if you were to retrieve them, you can see here, they come back and they deal a little extra damage, which is really nice. And decrease the invisibility duration from 3 seconds to 2 seconds. This is a change I don't understand, because her invisibility doesn't really... I feel like a cooldown extension would have been a better change than decreasing it by literally 50%. So yeah, we'll have to see how this one turns out, but I don't think that that's a great change overall for Psylocke, but again, we'll have to wait and see. Squirrel Girl is getting some love. Not sure why, because she's already got some of the most annoying damage to deal with. So increases the capacity of her burst acorn from a 10 clip to 12. So now she has 12 per reload. That's pretty good. Her reload isn't even that long either. So it decreased the cooldown of Mammal Bond from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. So that's her replenish. So whenever you got this here, you can give a free reload. It's getting a decrease in its overall timing from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. It's actually kind of crazy. So she can replenish her ammo much quicker, and it also gives her another bounce too, which is kind of cool. But I don't think she needed these buffs, to be honest. I guess we'll have to wait and see how this goes. But it optimizes the user experience of the Squirrel Blockade, Tail Bounce, and the Unbeatable Squirrel Tsunami, her ultimate. So her ultimate already got a buff. I'm curious to see what's going to happen here. Yeah. I don't really know if she needed these changes, but they're here, so we'll have to see for the better or for worse. Star-Lord. So Peter's having his ultimate frequency reduced, but his ultimate power increased. Time to bust a move. Increase the energy cost from 3,100 to 3,400, and extend the maximum target range from 30 meters to 40 meters. So that's interesting, because when he's in his ultimate, he already has a pretty good range. So you can see here, he can still aim, but at 30 meters, it automatically locks on. Now it's going to lock on at 40 meters, which sucks for any Flyers or anyone that's really in his range. I think that that's an interesting change. I don't know if it was needed, but hey, it's another change that they went with, so we'll just have to wait and see. And adjusting the damage fall off, reducing to 60% at 40 meters, reducing to 75% at 40 meters. So increased damage. That's kind of crazy too. Again, we'll wait and see how this works. Storm is also getting an increase in her ultimate's damage, which I think is kind of funny, because it didn't need any increase to its damage, but it's going to go up from 150 damage per second to 160. So not a major change, but it's one that's questionable. Again, I'm not sure the thought process there, but hey, maybe there's something that it's needed for. And the Punisher. Punisher is getting a boost to his mid to long range combat, and reducing the movement speed or movement slow rate of the Final Judgment, his ultimate, from 20% to 10%, so he'll move faster in it, and from 40 to 30 when firing, so he'll be 10% quicker in his ultimate. And increase his machine gun size. So this has a 30 round mag. It's now going to have a 40 round mag. That's kind of cool. And single hit damage is increasing from 18, so boom boom, that's going to go up to 19, and slightly reduce the spread while firing. he is probably going to be really good next season, as he is also really good normally. I feel like that the Punisher is the most understandable character for anyone to play, but he's going to be good at stopping flyers with increased magazine and also a reduced spread. He's going to be pretty good with this rifle at getting rid of flyers. So yeah, his shotgun still womps at close range. It can delete tank really quickly, but now he has an option to get rid of flyers, which I think is nice. So hey, that's something. I hate going against Punisher personally, but hey, anything to shut down flyers is probably good. So Jeff's kid gets a fantastic rework. It's actually pretty crazy what's happening to Jeff. Now more frontal support and combat ability with less survivability. Added a new effect to his Joyful Splash. So his main fire here, which normally just heals, now will damage enemies at 70 per second. So whenever you spray water, you can actually hurt enemies. That's pretty cool. So it's kind of like going to work like Invisible Woman's main fire. So hey, that's something different. And it can heal allies through other allies and enemies. Damage falloff starts at 20 meters to a maximum 65% F4. 40 meters, reduce healing per second from 150 to 130. So reducing his healing on that, I think that kind of sucks because he's already one of the worst healers. Change the Aqua Burst charge. Now max 3 charges, 3 seconds per charge. So no longer can he spam 12 of these in a row. He only gets 3 of them in a 3 second per charge. So that actually really changes Jeff. He's no longer a flanker. He used to have some crazy damage with that. So I think it's interesting giving his spray a change. So yeah, it increases the spell field damage from 40 to 45. So a bit of an increase in damage, but you can only do 3 of them. I think that's fair. Change the effect of the healing bubble from a one-time healing to healing over time. Increase the amount of healing from the previous instant, 85 to 120 over 4 seconds. So no longer can you bloop, 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 give yourself health back. They're making a big change to this, and reduce the max charges from 6 to 3 and remove the enemy launch up effect. Because normally you could run into the bubbles and knock people off of ledges. So that is no longer going to be happening. And add a new effect to his hide and seek. Now his energy cap max 120 that drains by 20 per second will submerge and restores 15 per second will not. So he can no longer spam this anymore. Normally he could do the hide and seek, give himself the bubbles, and literally keep popping back underground like that, and he's unkillable. No, he's no longer this annoying little menace. I think that this is a fair change. It sucks for all those Jeff mains out there because they completely reworked his kit. And it's Jeff. Overflow healing on small enemies now grants a 45 health per second bonus health up to 150. So you can now heal your teammates for longer and give them bonus health. That's pretty good. And increase the damage reduction while taking a critical hit from 50% to 70%, because his head is big. He's got a big head, especially so if you use the special emote with his big head. But yeah, this makes him a bit more survivable. I think that this is a fair change overall. I am ready to put on a show. So Luna. Increase the light and dark healing amount from 20 per round, so it does a 3-round burst. It does 60 now, to 22, so 66. That's nice. Add a new effect to absolute 0, so you get a 50% bonus health on an enemy hit. That's also nice. And increase the energy cost of her ultimate from 4,500 to 5,000. I also think that's fair because her ult is just that good. So boosting her overall healing but reducing the ultimate, I think that's a fair change to Luna. We'll see how this plays out. So Rocket is taking a bit of hit. So he's losing his overall team up, but he's getting a new team up that gives him an extra 5% healing. So a little bit extra healing with Peni, one of my favorite characters to play. So Penny's actually getting a cool change too, but it changed the repair nodule. So whenever you hit a teammate with it, it gives them 55 health. On the direct hit, it'll now only do 50. He's still a really great healer, I think, with these changes, but the team ups. So Hawkeye's getting an ice arrow, and Luna gains a 15% increase in her healing effects, and Hawkeye unlocks a new ice arrow which can pierce through enemies. Hawkeye's going to be a menace next season, so is Hela. Curious to see how this works. Now Jeff also is getting a change too here with the Jeff NATO. So this is a new, he's got 2 team ups that are coming. This one is funny. It's like the Sharknado movie. Basically Storm's ult will now have Jeff eating people in it. It gets the Jeff NATO ability through his team up with Storm. I think it's hilarious. So we'll see how this one works out. Operation Microchip. So Punisher and Black Widow are getting a bit of a change here. So the team of Anchor, Punisher gains a maximum health increase of 25 and a 5% boost in his damage. So he's, again, getting even more buffs here. And Black Widow gets a new pulse rifle ability through her team up. So this can be pretty devastating on targets. And I think it's going to be good against flyers too in particular. So Rocket Network, Rocket, Raccoon, and Peni are getting a team up. As an anchor, Rocket gets a 5% increase in his healing effects, and while the team is active, the BRB is turned into a web beacon. And Peni Parker unlocks a new armored spider nest ability through her team up, so she can get 2 spider nests and one of them's armored. Pretty crazy. I love playing Peni. I already got her as Lord. She's just a blast to play, and I think this is pretty crazy. I was mind blown in her season 2 updates, giving her more movement speed, headshots, 100 extra health. And she's still as crazy as ever with this overheal. Everything about Peni is pretty crazy. I enjoy playing her. She's not like a super meta pick, but yeah, she's fun. And I think that that's what's important, is making these characters fun. Tony Stank is getting a change, getting a 5% boost to his overall damage, and Ultron gains a new Rano ability from his team with Iron Man, which gives him a beam attack that can heal and harm enemies. So yeah, I think that's a cool team up. But another fun team up, I wish Jeff would get a cool like black appearance from this, is a team up with Venom. So as Venom gets a maximum health increase of 150. He was already the anchor of another one. And Jeff gets the healing tendrils. So this basically gives him the binding attack that the Venom gets, but now he can heal people with it. So that is pretty cool. And we lost the Hawkeye Black Widow team up, the Rocket Raccoon Punisher team up, the Luna Snow Jeff the Landshark team up, the Hulk Iron Man Namor team up, and the Symbiote Bond, which is great because Spider-Man annoying with that team up. And they changed the Atlas Bond Iron Fist Luna Snow, decreased the team up anchor damage boost from 15% to 10%. Fantastic Four slightly reducing the usage covering of his team up, increase the cooldown of the Storm siblings, Webbed Harmony, and Cooperative Commands from 20 seconds to 25 seconds, so the healing that they get. Gamma Charge, mild reduction or usage coverage of his team up, increased the Gamma Monstro from 15 seconds to 20. So yeah, I guess the Gamma Charge is going to now just be Hulk and Namor, and it's a little bit of a change, increasing the cooldown, which that does suck a little bit. And the mental projection, we've reduced the damage capability of this team up, reduced the proportion of damage caused by the magnetic resistance soul resurgence illusions from 30% to 20%. So reducing the overall damage that they'll be outputting. So overall, I think these changes are all right. I'm a little bit sad about the change to Thor. I don't know if we needed a change to Storm's ultimate, but we'll see. And yeah, overall, there's quite a few changes coming in season 2.5, so I just want to cover them all in this video. Let me know if this was useful. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.